Alright, welcome to the second episode of Structor's Music Search. And these are the first four albums I'm going to review. Um, and I found the two on the right at a thrift store and the two on the left at a library. No, I knew more about the two on the left before listening to them, but the two on the right were essentially blind. So yeah, let's start on the one on the bottom right corner, Fast Tracks. If this doesn't give you nostalgia to the early 2000s, then I guess you were born at the wrong time. Yeah, doesn't this look at how gaudy this is? Like I imagine seeing this on the back in the back of a magazine, like order now for $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping and handling. Uh, but yeah, it's basically a sampler of many of a lot of popular music from the late 90s because this was made in 2000. I'm not certain if you can read that, but yeah. And uh, and yeah, I actually wasn't too big of a fan of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just I haven't listened to many late '90s pop themes, but I figured that since it's a sampler, I gotta like at least one of them, and I did. I liked "Too Much of Heaven," it's a remix or so. But other than that, I thought it was pretty forgettable, and it only has like 10 tracks on it. I don't know, really. It's it's not my favorite, but I did purchase it essentially blind. It at least is nice to have on the shelf for that gaudy packaging. Now, the one on the top right here is, let's see, Future Jazz Project Check 1. And I've never heard of this Future Jazz Project. Um, I really Of course, anything with future in it makes me think of electronic, but I didn't think it was really gonna have much electronic, but I assume, yeah, again, it might be interesting. It looks fairly rare, made in Denver, 2004, and it's not the jazz you're thinking of. There's even sort of a rap theme in here. I don't really know what the Future Jazz project is, but there are some pretty good tracks on here, though, that I like, especially around the second half of the album. That might be where you might want to skip to. That's the more traditional jazz, and is in the second half of the album, I noticed. Um, but yeah, I'd probably give it a recommendation, as long as you can find it for cheaper than I did, which I found it for $3 at a Goodwill. I don't know where Goodwill gets their prices. This one was $1, but yeah. And pretty much the only album I didn't know completely, I wasn't completely blind to the artists on. Well, actually, wasn't blind to this one, but you get the idea. I knew Vangelis very well. Um, I loved his soundtrack in Blade Runner and such, and I've heard. I haven't heard many of his other themes though, but I knew that he was up my alley. And of course, this one actually is a compilation of many of his other themes that were released before, including the end titles from Blade Runner. And of course, I'm gonna like it. It's obvious. It's Vangelis. Um, Electronic music. That's was pretty much the only thing that I could guarantee that I liked. So yeah, it's it's not the best electronic music, as much as I hate to say that, but it is pretty good, and I do suggest it. Um, if only for like a couple tracks. Now this was what I thought to be the cream of the crop. Now this is Pink Floyd's last album, The Endless River, and I had seen some mixed reviews about it on Amazon. People were saying like, "Oh, it's not another Dark Side of the Moon." And I was thinking like, "Oh, I don't know much about this artist, so I might actually end up liking it." It turned out I loved it. It's pretty much completely made out of instrumental tracks, a lot of ambient tracks, a lot of stuff that really reminds me of Spencer Nilsen, which don't know who Spencer Nilsen is. He did a lot of the music for the Sega CD, and when I was looking at video game music for a time. He was one of my favorites from like Echo 2 and such. He made some really fantastic stuff. But yeah, this is um, quite similar stuff. So if you do like ambient stuff or instrumental psychedelic rock sort of thing, I don't know really actually if it is psychedelic rock very much. But yeah, um, ironically, the only one I didn't really like too much is the final one, Louder Than Words, which was a single for this album. But yeah, I definitely suggest that one. Um, but yeah, that's the end of the second episode of Structor's Music Search, and the search shall continue into the next episode.